morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning, right?
I am John Palacio.
And I'm April Martinez. And good morning. And
yeah,
thank you for
and
joining us.
welcome to Open Your Eyes. Guess who's back? Back again.
You surprised me and you tell me when to come back.
Man, I'll tell you what. I after taking my test and everything was negative, of course, from the Ministry of Health. Of course, I reached out to our CEO, and she was like, "You coming back?" And I was like, "Yes."
But you're feeling good.
Therefore, yeah, I'm feeling great. We'll dive into that story eventually because I've got a few things to say about that, or what that battle was like with the coronavirus. I'm not sure if it was the Omicron or the Delta or the Lambda or I'm not sure, but at the same time, definitely it was something to it's something to talk about,
Yeah.
But primarily, one of the things we always do every morning on here is that we break down what last night's newscast showcased, and there's one big story coming out of the news from last night, and I'm sure that you are able to pinpoint it as well. We're talking about the Belize travel health insurance.
Oh yes.
That's the big thing at this particular point. It's going to be the conversation throughout the day today. Definitely on social media, you're going to hear all the conversations and stuff. If you're a traveler coming into Belize, a tourist actually, you're coming into Belize via land borders or via the Philip Golson International Highway, Philip Golson International Airport. Actually. Yes. Then, as of February 15th, you will have to purchase your Belize travel health insurance. And there's a lot about it that people need to know. Of course, it is about the coverage. And I feel, April, that there are so many things that we need to put in place in our country so that people can feel safe. Primarily,
Yeah.
And I feel this is one of those ways to go.
No, I think it's a great idea, and I think it shows a lot of initiative from the tourism board here in Belize. I believe that hotels were already starting to implement such insurance.
Somewhat.
Right? But I think now that the ministry is doing something about it, it's going to be across all boards.
Yes.
Right? So not just travel, but hotel safety, car insurance, flight insurance, luggage, everything that comes with it. And if you are, because the weird thing about the COVID virus is that you can get a negative test and it can be false negative.
Yes,
right?
you can.
And you could be a traveler that gets a negative test when they are arriving and test positive when they're here. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they caught the virus when they were here, but it happened that way.
It happened
right?
that way.
And so the best thing to do is to be safe and secure that maybe you're getting your money back, you're getting a little bit more of leisure when you're here with that. You get a little bit of a relaxation when it comes to the hotels because they might guarantee your safety.
Indeed.
Right? Some hotels, I believe, had already started to implement policies that would help people in the hotel. They would quarantine them. Perhaps they would provide some sort of discount for them. But now with this insurance, it's a little bit more
then you
of
know
a
that they're
safety
covered.
measure.
Indeed.
Yes.
So it also says the cost of the policy is $18 and provides coverage for up to $50,000 in medical expenses related to the treatment of COVID-19. Now, they're being specific here. And of course, this is going to be for a period of 21 days.
Yeah.
Now, the insurance plan will come online under the country's public health regulations and provide for cover for lodging. That's lodging expenses due to quarantine up to $2,000. Now, when they speak about this 2,000, they're talking about the quarantine time.
Yeah.
The time that
They
you
would
tested
spend in the
positive,
hotel.
and of course you need to stay in the hotel. So much so for a maximum of $300 a day. All right. So we know that much. There'll be questions though. What about the tourists? What about the cruise tourism? What about the passengers who are coming off the cruise ships? So these are some of the questions that will be asked to the Ministry of Tourism as to what's going to happen there. It also exempts Belizeans who are actually coming back home.
Yes.
Now, is it back home or we're talking
We went
Bellamere? Who, because look, let's face the fact. When Bellameres get to Belize, they take out their Belizean passport, they go in that Belizean line, and that's where they're stamped.
Yeah.
And so well, are we talking about these people? So there's so many questions that need to be asked or need to be answered by the Belize Tourism Board. And so it's just to, provide clarity so folks can understand that, hey, We're talking about these folks. This is what you must do, and this is how you must do it.
Yeah.
You know, and also, one of the things that that of course the release points out is the fact that you must stay at a Gold Star hotel.
And most of these hotels have been getting that Gold Star review certificate, from since last year, when we had kind of sort of talked about opening the borders and bringing back tourists into the country. So for the most part, I think that if you are a hotel owner, this is the best choice for you, so that you're able to be secure. You have that aid from the ministry, and you are able to, you know, continue running your business as per normal.
Indeed. And the point is right here. It's right here on a bullet point. All international tourists must book accommodations at Gold Star property and present confirmation at immigration. So upon your arrival in Belize, you must present that to the folks who are at the international airport. All travelers, both vaccinated and unvaccinated, entering Belize through the Philip Golson International Airport from other countries will be required to present a negative COVID test. Very important to point out that you must provide that. And if you are leaving from another country coming to Belize and you're not vaccinated, or you haven't, you're not able to present a negative COVID test upon arrival into Belize, then you will be required to take one right there at the international airport.
I always wonder about the Belizeans that live in the diaspora in the United States that come with their American passport. They have family here, so they wouldn't stay at a hotel. They stay with you, John. So how does that work too?
There we go. So these are some of the questions that must be asked, must be answered by the ministry. But I'm sure that, of course, they'll be diving more into that, so as to provide clarity. In order for me to go to a country, I want to make sure that I'm, one, secure, two, everything is clear, and I know that I am following the rules of that particular country. So I'm sure that these things will be coming out. I feel, well, I'm optimistic that sometime today we'll be getting some more information on this.
Definitely.
So people are able to understand what this is all about. But nonetheless, we know for a fact that policies are being put in place so as to safeguard those who are actually coming to the country, and of course for us here at home. It also tells me too that there's no, when a locked borders in sight.
But I feel like we're doing a relatively good job at adapting. I feel like we're trying really hard to get back to, well, it's never going to be normal again. Just pre-COVID, that done. We have to just move forward to something different, to something new. And these are some of the measures that we're going to be seeing.
Indeed.
Along with what the Ministry of Education is going to bring forward, along with what the Ministry of Health is going to be bringing forward. So just try to be updated as much as possible.
Indeed. And that is just one of the stories coming out of the news from last night. I feel it is the biggest one. And then it brings me now to COVID and the numbers that are actually out there. Some folks are saying, you know what, here we go again. We're making this thing rampant. But we've been saying that the Omicron variant is actually 70% more transmissible.
We were talking about that before we went off for holidays, that we haven't seen the numbers for the holiday season as yet. That is what is just starting to
rear its head. Indeed. So while we're seeing these numbers actually skyrocketing at this particular point, we must put ourselves in the position of thinking what we did during the Christmas season, how we celebrated during the New Year, to ringing New Year. There's still not a definitive, yes, it is the Omicron variant. But we're seeing the shift of how this thing is playing out, and so therefore saying, hey, it must be.
We have to stop thinking about it as something linear, like, oh, we gone through the Lambda, so now we're going through the Delta, and now we're going through the Omicron. We have to remember that they're all here. You know, they all exist at once. So just because the Omicron is less, you know, it's not as harsh as the Delta, that doesn't mean that you won't catch the Delta. You have to be secure and safe at all times.
Indeed.
Right, and then the only, I think, positive thing that has been coming out from these cases is that we haven't seen a lot of fatalities. We haven't seen a lot of deaths. And
we are so thankful to actually see that. There we go with the numbers. They're actually on screen at 940 new confirmed cases. This week has been one of those with record in terms of confirmed cases.
Like I told Marlene, at least it's not 1,000.
You know what? On Tuesday, it was over 1,000 cases in 24 hours. But look at the recoveries. Yesterday, day before yesterday's report, or make that day before yesterday's report had 800 something cases, but 400 something recoveries. Yesterday, we saw 940 new confirmed within 24 hours, with 379 new recoveries.
Yes.
Under investigation, though, 559.
Yeah.
Now, which brings me to my story and how it's funny because, here on the show, every morning we actually talk about this thing. We talk about this every day. I think about 3 weeks ago, we had a doctor out of Texas saying, this is what we're noticing with this new variant and how coronavirus is actually shifting itself around. Yeah. The fact that it's extremely transmissible. And he went on a limb, April, saying that, you know what? Everybody's going to get it. Yeah. He went on a limb saying that, and I was like, But lo and behold, I received a call from my wife saying that her sister was positive. And so I left out, and I said, you know what, let me go and do a test. So I went to do a test. It was negative. The day after, my wife went to do a test. She was positive. That was a Wednesday. That particular day, that Wednesday in the afternoon, somewhere around 12 to about 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon, I started to feel horrible. I started to feel, and it put me back to when people say following taking the coronavirus vaccine, they feel sort of broken up for a while and things, and that's exactly the feeling explained to me was exactly how I felt. I didn't want to eat. I felt cold. I had a headache. I felt broken up. And I started to reflect on the story of Dr. Eck and of course, and he's my good friend, and of course, Dr. Cuellar. I started to reflect on their story and how they battled it. And I tried my best to battle at that particular time. So much so I started to boil fever grass with garlic.
All the remedies.
Yeah, all the remedies. And I started to drink that. Felt a little good there. Sweetener being my honey. And started to feel a little better there. And after about 4 or 5 hours, it started to wear off. And I was so thankful. But you know what I give thanks for the most, April? The fact that I took the vaccine. That is what I'm thankful for. I took the vaccine and I took the booster and I live with that on my mind, knowing that I am protected somewhat from the vaccine. And with that said, you know what? Going out there and get vaccinated. It is very important that you do for your own health, your own safety, for the love of yours, for the love of your entire family. Go on out and get the vaccine. And so much so I could say that the process at all these vaccination sites and all these testing sites, smooth. Well, at least here in the city. I went to Swift Hall, smooth. They're right there. Everybody is, you get sprayed down. They ask you your information. Make sure that you've got your identification card. They're going to take that down. They give you a swab. They tell you to sit there. They swab you. You wait on a corner. And they give you your results. You're positive. Go to the doctor. They'll write up your paper. And that's it. And then you leave. But you must isolate yourself. I'm very, very thankful for how smooth the process is, thanks to the Ministry of Health and Wellness with respect to that.
I'm glad that you said that, because I would imagine that a lot of people are getting tested every day. And so the fact that you said it went so smoothly, that there was not a lot of crowding, that it was not a lot of...
For the places that I went, because we could talk about Central Health
people either.
Central Health region here, that particular area would get very crowded. But here in the city, there are so many different places. And so therefore, you've got choices. If you see there are a lot of people over there, then go to another spot. Down at the Civic Center, that's another great spot. The Swift Hall, that's another great spot. So there's so many places that you are able to go on out to get a coronavirus test. So many places you could get your vaccine. I am extremely thankful for the vaccine, and also more so for the fact that I'm very health conscious. I go on out there, I work out, and I feel good about that.
We're going to talk about that later on
Eventually
today.
We will.
Yes,
Eventually we will. But that was my bout with the COVID-19 virus. It was, I bring to a lot of people that I think I give COVID Palacio. I felt great after a few days. And today's date, this is how I feel. But more so, folks, again, I'm telling you and I'm appealing to you, go get vaccinated if you haven't as yet. Get your booster if you haven't as yet. It is very important that we do so.
Makes a huge difference, yes.
Indeed.
All right. Well, thank you so much, John, for your testimony. And I hope that, I'm glad that you're feeling better.
Yeah.
You said you felt like $1 million, and I'm like, I want to be like him when I grow up.
I don't know what $1 million look like, but I feel like it.
Well, I guess that's what it is, right? But it's lovely to have you back. It's lovely to have you on the show, and I'm glad for our segments today. We have a great segment today. But
just before we do that, we've got to provide or continue with, of course, some more motivation, and we're going to do that via the eye opener, of course, taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. We must make sure our beliefs are actually our own and not a story that puts us by somebody else, put upon us by somebody else. Now, April, you asked these questions, and of course, you check this out. Just as the stock market rises and falls in response to what people are willing to put their money behind, we have inside ourselves an inner economy that rises and falls in response to our beliefs about what is possible. Sometimes the degree of which we are willing to challenge our belief system determines the success of our inner economy. If you found a way to release negative beliefs, a great flood of energy would pour forth, greatly increasing the likelihood of your success. Now, how much energy we're willing to invest in the various ideas, dreams, and various visions we carry within is like the money people are or are not willing to invest in the stock market. And in both cases, belief plays a key role in determining how willing we are to get behind something. One way to open up the possibility of greater success in our inner economies is to understand that belief is not the reliable guide we sometimes think. There are other more reliable indicators of success that we can put our faith in, such as passion, gut instinct, and intuition. Now, in the same way, we can learn to trust our heart's desire and our instincts to guide us, questioning any belief that stands in the way of our ability to fully invest in ourselves. As we withdraw energy from limiting ideas about what is possible, we free up the resources that have the power to make our inner economy thrive.
You know, it's funny that this is the eye-opener because this is a conversation that I think we have regularly about how much energy we put into career, how much energy we put into happiness for self, and how much energy we put into making our aspirations and our dreams come true, right? And that energy is never the same, because I guarantee you that the energy that you had put into work 10 years ago is probably not the same energy that you're putting in today. And you probably have found new aspirations, a new path that you want to take forward, and that is where your energy is going. But doesn't mean that you have shifted your passion or your gear from a previous place of work, right? But then also, you have to be able to give 100% to your place of work. You have to, because then you have to make money.
You know, and I feel that I think that your passion for that particular place of work gives you the ability to want to put the 100%.
Exactly.
But I tell you what, just listening to the eye opener, reading the eye opener, the story comes to mind that some people would say they wear money green to have money, and that's their belief. You know, that's their belief. But it's so right that we must make sure our beliefs are actually our own. So a lot of the times, and it comes from wisdomic folks. Look, you know, cross on our ladder, otherwise a bad luck. You know, do this. Don't put your hand on your head, otherwise, there's so many things, and they come in the form of beliefs. And I feel what they do as well, especially after listening to it and learning for yourself, it actually puts you at a certain level and not put you where you're supposed to be.
But how would you know? Because you've grown up with these your entire lives. So how is it that you would know that this is your belief?
Indeed.
Apart from somebody else's.
I like that you say that, and we must stick up in there because we've got the folks from the Met Service on the line as we speak. Mr. Redon is on there. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm doing good.
Your song Monday-ish, though.
doing?
Your song Monday-ish.
It's Friday.
Yeah, you give him a Friday laugh,
Yes,
though. I've got to
yes.
say. But let's
It's
jump on into
Friday,
it.
Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday. So let's talk about the weather. A lot of folks are actually looking forward to the weekend. So let's start with the general situation. What should we expect?
Okay, today we can expect mostly fair weather, except if you're out at sea and over the southern portions of the country.
Wow. So that simply
right.
says
So,
that the 24-hour forecast is going to be something else.
okay. Well, no, it's going to be mainly fair, actually. Yeah, the rains will go away, whatever is left of it.
Okay.
So we can expect sunny skies today with cloudy spells, with a few showers, mostly over southern portions of the sea and the mainland. Tonight, then, partly cloudy with only isolated showers and mainly over the south.
Okay.
The winds will be generally north to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea stays choppy.
That means that we're going to have some cool temperatures forecast to be done.
Well, no, it's going to warm up. Last night was cool. I mean, up here we had a minimum of 18 or about, let's see, that's 64, 65.
Where?
At the airport, we had 65.
What?
But
that was
minimum temperatures last night, early this morning, ranged from 70 degrees Fahrenheit at the Keys to 59 up north and in the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
59.
raining this morning.
Wow. All right.
It was cool, but the warming trend is on the way before another cold front arrives on Sunday.
Well, everybody is supposed to know.
But it's cold this morning. It's cold right now.
Christmas in January.
Yes.
But anyway, let's talk
That's
about the
right.
highs for today. What should we expect?
Okay, we can expect 82 Fahrenheit along the coast, 87 inland, and 72 up in the hills.
And lows tonight?
Low 74 coastal, 68 inland, 62 up in the mountains.
All right. And of course, in our extended forecast, what should we expect?
Okay, Saturday, mainly fair. Mainly fair weather, only isolated showers, if any. Sunday, then, the wind shift around to the northwest, and a few showers will occur, or possibly even thunderstorms Sunday morning. And that should decrease in the afternoon and shift to the south as a cold front will cross the country during Sunday.
All right. Now we know. You've told us. You've warned us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Have a good
You're
weekend.
welcome.
All right.
All right.
But now we know exactly what to expect, April. I'll tell you what, this much Sunday, cold front. Ooh.
Last week, they said isolated showers, and I made a big thunderstorm. I blew my pants. I'm
Well,
not really sure.
We ain't going there. But nonetheless, we're looking forward to a great show. It is a fun Friday.
Yes.
And with that said, well, of course, we're planning for you and, of course, us to have some fun. Kicking things off this morning with the launch of the exhibit George Price, the man versus the politician. We've got that conversation in our first segment.
Yes, and of course, you know that tomorrow is his
Yes.
birthday and it's his day, so that's a good conversation to have and open up with.
He would have been celebrated 103 years old from
Yes.
1919, which he was born, to 2022. Imagine. Huh?
103. You want to live to see 103, John?
Well, you know, God is good.
All right. All right. And then, of course, our second conversation is going to be the start your new year right with more me time. And we have Miss Luisa Rivas Dechet that is going to talk to us about investing more time in yourself.
That's actually Deshane Lopez, who is a clinical psychologist, counseling and psychological services. She's going to be in studio with us. And that's, of course, going to be the third segment.
Yes.
But Luisa Rivas Deche will, of course, join us in the second segment for International Me Time.
Yes.
International Me Time advocate. And she'll be talking about the benefits of making time for yourself. When last you make time for yourself?
Unless you make time for yourself.
Well, you know, every day during the COVID time.
You better make time for yourself.
We got to take a break. Yes. When we come back, of course, we'll be diving directly into our first segment. But just before we do, we've got a birthday shout out.
Yes.
Who do we have there?
We have a happy birthday to Basilio Mess. Happy birthday, Basilio. John is going to take us away with his birthday.
You serious?
Sing. Yes, because you're not singing nobody happy birthday for 2 weeks now.
Well, Basilio, I'll tell you what, my brother, happy birthday to you. But I'll tell you what, somebody else very, very special, dear to me, will be celebrating their birthday tomorrow as well.
Okay.
And that is my mother,
Aww.
Laverne Chavez, living near in Trumbull, Connecticut. Her birthday is going to be tomorrow. I tell you what, I'm going to call Aladdin, borrow a flying carpet. I might reach, celebrate, come right back. What do you say, huh? What do you say? You done with that?
Go ahead.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, of course, we'll be talking about the launch of the exhibit. Stay with us. We will be right back.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
Video on demand. Coming soon.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
And welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we're moving now into our first segment. It is a fun Friday, and we're about to have some fun. We're about to have fun talking about history and those who actually made us who we are today in terms of our country. Now we're talking about the life of George Cale Price, the man versus the politician, and there will be a launch, of course, of an exhibit. And to tell us all about it, she's in with us, Kim Vasquez, Senior Program Officer at the Institute of Creative Arts, Niche. A very pleasant morning to you. Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Now, you know, I like your hairstyle and things that happen. I like it. It's fit for a Friday.
It is.
Oh, man.
you never met her when she would come with this last
No, man, I never see her. But today we're actually seeing her, and we're so thankful once again that you were actually able to join us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I always read over what we've got lined up for our shows coming up the next day, and I see this one, the launch of the exhibit George Price, the Man versus the Politician. As a matter of fact, there are various clips out there to talk about him and who he was and how he impacted our country. And that's exactly where I would like to start, Kim, with respect to how George Price impacted our country, so much so that now we've got an exhibit. Let's start there on his impact.
Yes, you know, George Price Day, we're celebrating tomorrow. And we owe so much to the Right Honorable George Price. You know, he's the father of the nation. But, you know, if we look at his legacy and the road that he traveled, taking us up to independence and beyond, you know, you really have to appreciate what he did for Belize, what he did for us as a people. You know, I go back to what it was like before we had even self-government, you know, when we were under colonialism and, you know, our country was underdeveloped. You know, life was hard and we were treated as second-class citizens. That is something I think a starting point for Belizeans to understand why he had this vision for us as an emerging nation, you know, because there are so many things we did not have. Education, you know, I mean, there weren't schools. If you wanted education, you had to come to Belize City, and only a few could afford that, you know, and so it's some of the things that we take for granted, like schools in rural areas, we owe that to George Price, you know, but he also wanted us to be unified, you know, to be one. You know, he didn't like all of the racial slurs. I think even now we take that for granted because we were so divided. And, you know, that was probably one of the strategies of colonialism, to divide and conquer. And he didn't like all of the racial slurs, the things we called each other, and he wanted us to be, you know, one people, one Belizean people. And so I think that's a starting point, definitely, for the discussion. But there's so much more. I mean, that's just the starting point.
Well, the exhibit is called The Man versus the Politics, right?
Yes, so, and that's an important thing because, you know what, that exhibit that the Museum of Belize and the Houses of Culture they are presenting is to understand that, yes, you know, he had this public life, and but there's another side to him, you know, the personal side to him, and we can look at both. You can put them side by side, and you can learn, and we can take lessons from them. So in addition to the exhibit, we also have a new episode in the series we call Appointment with History, Lessons from the Father of the Nation. We will be premiering a new episode as well tomorrow in that series. So we launched that series last year with 3 episodes, and you know, they were entitled Humility, Faith, and Service. And each episode, like I said, covers lessons that you can take away, not only from his political life, but from his personal life as well.
I definitely would like to know where people are able to actually see these episodes, because it's very important. One of the things Mr. Price used to always say, wake up and work.
Yes.
Because he was adamant about Belizeans actually working for what they believe in and working to earn a fair day's salary. So he was always that way, so much so that he would walk right there on North Front Street and just patrol the road just like that. And of course, asking you, how are you? How is your family?
And picking up garbage, picking up litter.
Because he was actually, that's
what he's known for. You would always hear people say on his way to church, he would pick up the trash as he's going towards, and then he would, you know, if he sees you, he'd say, okay, you have to come and help me too.
So which was, of course, a part of his vision, of course, to to make sure that we've got a strong democratic country. And so a lot of people would remember that about him. And everybody remember the rover. Well, people, back in our days, so we remember that rover stopping by, and I'd definitely want to get into the exhibit.
Yes.
But I'm sure, and I feel it's very important for folks to know the type of person or why we're actually celebrating.
Yes.
You had mentioned to us that there's a story with him along with Don Hector. Tell us about
there's
that.
A photo, if they can bring it up, of Don Hector and Gwen Lizarraga and Right Honorable George Price. And this is one of the stories that, that come out in the research as we put in, yes, there you see them, right? And they were on their way to this event where they were launching the business for Bandag in Orange Walk. And according to Don Hector, who gave me this story, when they got to about mile 14 around Ladyville, they passed a work site. And he had this habit of stopping the Land Rover. If he see any citizen or he want to strike a conversation or find out something, he will stop. So here were this bunch of about 10 workmen, and then just they stand up, they look idle. So he said, no, he pull over. So he comes out and he starts speaking to them, and he said, what happened, where they go on? And the man they said, well, boss, you see, look what they left the sack of cement, then way over there. And they look at each other, and the sacks of cement are maybe like 100 feet away from where the men are standing. So he says, oh man, he says, so that's why another work? So when boss, we do wait for the truck come back. So he say, Minister, come, he tells Don Hector, come, let's go. Yeah. And they're dressed as you see, they're going to this. They're going to this event, this lunch. So he got on a nice spiffy wire bearer and everything. And he goes up to the sack of cement, and he picks up one and puts it on his shoulder, right on his clean shirt. And he said, Minister, you pick up one too. And Don Hector was like flabbergasted because, you know what I mean, Don Hector, he's a sharp kind of guy. He said, well, I had to struggle to pick up one too.
One bag of cement.
And throw it on his shoulder, right? Yeah. And they go and they move the sack. And he said the moment they did that, he didn't have to say a word. All those men fell in line. Everybody went and started to move the cement. Yeah. And he said, okay, and that was it. They got back in the Land Rover and they went on the way.
The minister could do it, they can do it. And
he didn't have to school, he didn't have to preach to them, but he said he inspired them. That's what he did. He led by example.
Exactly. That's exactly where I wanted to go, because it is about leading by example. So he did that. And of course the guys decided to follow suit.
Well, yeah, because if you see the Prime Minister, start to pick up the sack of cement and they complain, and this man they look for bucket and he dress up to go down an event. What's stopping you from putting the sack of cement on your shoulder and moving them and getting back to work?
So let's talk about the exhibit now. The exhibit will entail what and where?
Yes. So a lot of effort is being put into this exhibit. You get to see some of the artifacts related to the father of the nation, some of his clothing, things from his childhood, I understand. And what we're trying to do is, like I said, to show both his public life and the side, because there's so much to him that people don't know. He loved music. He liked to write. He liked to read. Somebody told me he read like 6 books a month. Wow. And he was always encouraging people to read, right? Yeah. I think the former cabinet secretary, Bobby Leslie, once told me he would ask him all the time, Bobby, what you reading? And I hope you're not reading a silly book. Yeah. He wanted you to read things that would, expand your knowledge and right? So that's what the exhibit is trying to do. It's trying to show you 2 sides to the father of the nation.
Why titled The Man versus the Politician?
Yes, because people need to understand that one of the biggest things, if you ask anybody, what stands out about George Price, one of the first things people say is his humility, how humble he was. And it's his humanity first, who he was as a person first, and his own character that allowed him to be the type of leader that he was. So it's important for, I guess, the exhibit is trying to show that, you can't really separate them. It's not, that we're trying to paint the flip side of a coin, but so that you can see the 2 sides to who he was in his personal life, and get some background of his family, and then also look at some of the things he did as, as a leader, as a politician, as the Prime Minister.
So this is a live exhibit.
Yes.
Where?
Yes, it's launching tomorrow at the Government House of Culture here in Belize City. It will be, the launch is closed to the public, but it will be live streamed at 10 a.m. On the National Celebrations page. And I believe as well on the niche page as well. We will share it on the niche page as well. And then thereafter, you know, the public is allowed to stop by and view it. And we encourage you to come. Don't come in a crowd.
No,
but bring your child, you know, bring your small little group, a relative or somebody, and come and see the exhibit. Especially right now, I think it's important for children. That, I think, for us is the challenge, because, you know, I mean, we if we are not careful, we will have a whole generation coming up that really don't understand. I mean, you and me, we can remember him. You know, we had encounters with him, you know. But children, you know, they don't know who he is, right? And it's up to us to keep his memory alive, to keep his legacy alive for them, and for them to understand why he is a national hero.
You had sent us a clip of the lessons in history. Where can folks find that?
On the niche YouTube page. They're up there. The 3 episodes, yes. The first series is up there. And then we are launching a new episode tomorrow as well, along with a couple others after that.
In lieu of George Price Day.
Yes, it will be launched tomorrow, the new episode. And then we hope to have a few more as well, so that we will complete the set with 6 episodes. And each one, like I said, is a lesson that you can take from his life. And I also need to make mention that there are activities happening in the districts as well. The Houses of Culture, Orange Walk, the Banquitas House of Culture today has a web forum where they're going to be talking to 2 elders there in the community that work closely with George Price. And that will be live streamed on the Banquitas House of Culture page. And I know on Sunday as well, the Benke House of Culture will have a youth mass. Again, you know, in celebration, in honor of the life of George Price. And again, like I said, a part of the goal is to bring awareness to youth, to children, about who he was, the work that he did, and the legacy that he left behind.
Okay, so we're talking about various House of Cultures throughout the country tomorrow. Will be doing their own little celebration.
Yes. There's also a writing competition as well going on at Banquitas House of Culture. I believe that was launched from about a week ago or so. And again, these are things that are in line with what he did. He pushed writing, you know. He himself was a poet, you know. He wrote beautiful poetry for Belize. And, you know, so they are doing a writing competition as well.
I live in Belmopan, right? And we have the George Price Center. And there's a lot of artifacts and a lot of his books and writings that are there. How is this display different from that?
Far more different things that you have not seen. We have some items that have not been shared before. They are very much prized and treasured, and they're on loan to us from the family. And I must make mention as well that, you know, the family has been so supportive. You know, all of his grandnieces, again, even putting together the documentary and getting to speak to family members and hearing their different stories with him, you know, is something that is so valuable. You can't really, you know, I spoke last week to former Speaker of the House, Elizabeth Zabani. And just, you know, I mean, you look at her and that, I know her as the former as head of the Senate, President of the Senate and Speaker of the House. And to hear her speak about her memories of him when she was 7 years old and the way he imparted advice to her that stayed with her. I remember he gave her 2 Psalms for leadership. And I can only imagine that, you know, and she said it, you know, she would pray, she would recite those Psalms later on in life, you know, as, you know, as she became an adult. So, you know, we're really grateful for the support and the input of the family as well.
Touch everybody's life, born in 1919, and tomorrow would have been his 103rd birthday. And when I say touch everybody's life, did you know that Belmopan actually got started by the Premier? So all these things are very important for folks to understand, that, you know, they've got many stories that can be told.
I mean, you look at Belmopan, and his vision for that, you know, and you know, that's one of the themes we want to touch on in the second series, because he was so visionary. in conceptualizing Belmopan. And then I think it was sometime in the early 70s that we had Hurricane Fifi and Bam today. The same thing what the man made, they said we need for have on capital. Yes,
yeah,
we need to move out. And no sooner had the ground been broken and the place start, we gave up, nature gave us a prime, and we saw it so many times afterwards. Yes, you know, but you know, I mean, even to come up with that, you know, to envision a new capital. Right? Again, you know, I mean, we take it for granted because, you know, okay, well, it's just always been there, Belmopan. It's always been in our memory. But even that, you know, breaking ground on a new capital was something momentous, significant.
His home there is so humble, and if you live in the middle of Belmopan, you want past his house every day. Every day. It's just this tiny little place, and I wonder why they don't renovate that.
Well, you know, it's also interesting to hear even the memories. I think in the first series we have somebody that would encounter him going to mass every day. So if he was in Belize City, he went to mass, and if he was in Belmopan, he went to mass.
Speaking of that, would the exhibit show anything about his life of being a man of God?
Definitely, it's featured. It's featured in everything. I mean, you can't really separate that from who he was.
That was his path.
He was guided. He was guided by you know, his Christianity and his faith. You know, and he prayed before he did everything. You know, and if you were to speak to any of the family members, they will tell you that, you know, he always went back to that, you know, that was, you know, his, you know, the center of everything for him.
God first and work hard. Those were his thing.
Yeah, but coming back to the display, is that going to be up all year long, or is that just going to be for a limited time?
No, it's going to be for a limited time. Okay. So like I said, don't go and crowd the House of Culture, but we are encouraging people to take opportunity to see it, right, and to visit the exhibit. Right?
So how long will it be open?
I believe it will be up for 1 month.
All right. So for 1 month, the exhibit starts tomorrow. What time?
At 10 o'clock. Yeah, so everybody can go on the National Celebrations page, and you can look out for the live stream of that opening ceremony. And I believe you'll get a little sneak peek as well of a little preview. Of course, today we're inviting the media as well to stop by and take a look, get an inside look, you know, a sneak peek. You know,
I know she not try to give away much from what is displayed, right? But is there anything?
I don't want to give it away because, like I said, so much. You know, I must give recognition to my colleagues at the Museum of Belize and the Houses of Culture, curator Ilona Smiling and her staff, because those ladies have put so much work into preparing this exhibit.
Is there anything in particular that you want to see or you are excited about in the display itself?
Yes, you pull out the
I'd try.
He was a Boy Scout.
Yes.
And I understand that we're going to get to see his uniform, you know, the uniform, right? And the old Boy Scout uniform, they never look like what
they had a picture of it displayed just now.
You know, they had the wide hat and everything. And I say that because I think that probably shaped a lot of his character as well. My dad was also a Boy Scout. You know, one of the old school Boy Scout.
Discipline and everything.
Discipline and have so many skills. And then, you know, if there were practical skills, but then you saw how they applied it to their life afterwards, you know. So you know, that's something that, you know, it's a little glimpse of his childhood that you'll get to see, you know.
So a piece of the pie you're sharing with us.
Yes.
In order for everybody to get the entire pie, then what you need to do is to link up tomorrow at 10 o'clock on Niche's page. You're talking about celebration.
Yes, on the Niche page and the National Celebrations page.
All right, so you link up to those, and of course you'll be able to get this exhibit. We're talking about George Price, the man versus the politician. Now this is history in the making again. That's just the way it is. So you said the place will be open for 1 month, and will there be a duration, like a time duration, whereby I might not be able to view it today or tomorrow, but I'd like to go on out there to see it for myself?
Yes, it's open during the week, during normal working hours. You know, you stop by and you can, you know, visit the exhibit, you know. And like I said, I'm stressing this, take a young person with you, right? Take a child.
Instill some knowledge.
Instill some knowledge, yes.
Kim, we're so thankful for you to join us this morning. Kim Vasquez, Senior Program Officer Institute of Creative Arts Niche, for joining us this morning to tell us about this big launch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're excited for this launch.
Yes.
Like we mentioned, it is a fun Friday, and just the thought of George Cadle Price, the premier himself, may he rest in peace. That is, of course, some fun within our mind, history within our mind, of course, discipline for the fact that he would say, work hard and God first. All right, we're going to take the break. When we come back, it's going to be about International Me Time. Kim, you need me time? We're going to teach you exactly how to do that. So International Me Time Advocate will be talking to us about the benefits of making time for yourself. That's going to be our second segment. It's Fun Friday. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Our region's healthcare workers are our heroes, and that's why we want to make sure you're protected against dangerous diseases that can harm you and your families. To all our amazing healthcare providers, please make sure you're up to date with your vaccines, from measles to influenza. And when it's your turn to get vaccinated against COVID-19, please make sure you do so as soon as possible. The COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective at protecting you, and they're our best shot at keeping our health services functioning. Thank you for all you do.
Vaccines bring us close.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
reduce your risk of viral illness like the flu or the coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing with a tissue. Throw away, then wash hands immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who has the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
And we're back. Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. Moving now into our second segment for the morning. Now, this one, it is Fun Friday.
It is Fun Friday. I'm excited for this one.
And I'll tell you what, this one definitely is going to be fun as well. Why? Because it's about me time. So, International Me Time Advocate is in with us to talk about the benefits of making time for yourself. Yes. This lovely lady is actually Luisa Rivas Deche, and she's an international speaker and a Me Time Advocate. Luisa!
Tell us about me time.
Yeah,
good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning. How are you doing?
We are doing great. That much we could tell you for the fact that we'll be learning how to take some me time.
What is me time?
Yeah, what's me time?
Me time, in other words, is relaxation time. Yes.
Yes.
When I think of me time, I am preparing already for some relaxation. At times, we say, I'm going to take my me time, my 5 minutes, my 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We go and stress ourselves, right?
Yes.
Have you
So you're saying that during your me time, you go stress yourself?
You cannot stress yourself, right?
Not how it works.
Because remember, me time is about disconnecting.
Yes.
Yes, that is the purpose. Remember, everything that we do, there must be a purpose. We need to do things with purpose.
Yeah.
So what is my me time purpose? To disconnect. I want to disconnect from the entire world.
Yeah.
And be able to connect to myself.
What does me time do for somebody? And I'm asking this question because a lot of people feel that, well, their happiness, they'll tell you that their happiness is to actually make other people feel better. And when they do that, they tend to not have me time, or they constitute me time to be making you feel better. How important it is for me time mentally? Like, what does it do for you?
Okay, I love that question. One of the challenges that I want to bring this morning is for you to be that change that you want to see in others. Yes, because a lot of time we do have so many people who want to advocate, who want to do so much for others. In the time being, we forget about ourselves.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So anything that we want to see in others, that change, it have to come first from us.
I like that.
So you have to, everything, and again, I will bring back, it's about purpose. Yes? What is the purpose of me wanting to contribute, to influence you, to be a happier person, a more relaxed person?
Yes.
What is the purpose? Perhaps we want to have better communities. Yes?
Yeah.
A better society. But am I part of that society? Who have to be the first one to make that change? It have to be me. So the moment I take on to start to practice whatever I want you to practice, whatever change I see that you need to make in your life, I must first come to myself, be able to analyze what changes I need to make to adjust to be that change that we want to see.
Yeah.
I like that because you can't give what you don't have. You already, if you have exhausted your entire self over 100%, you can't give any more to your loved one, to your people to make happy. You have to be able to center yourself first. But we're good at giving advice and not taking it.
But Luisa, you know, there are a lot of people who would tell you that, you know, me spending 10 minutes alone with myself, I feel like I am wasting time. Now, people would say time is money, maybe not understanding how important a reboot of your mind is actually for me time. So what do you say to people say time is money? What do you say to these people? Time is money. I don't have time for me time. Or there is no such thing. What do you say to these people?
Okay, I will just bring reassurance that time is money. I do believe that time is money. And that is the main important thing here. Because time is money, is that I invest in quality time for myself. Do you see? Because time is money. We know that. So we cannot be wasting time. So I need to really do time management in my own life to be able to put time separate for my me time. I want to invest in relaxation. Whenever we invest and we believe in relaxation, we become more productive. Remember, a more relaxed person will always be a more productive person. Have you noticed how there are some people who are always complaining about time? They don't have time for anything. They have too much work. Yet, if you stop to analyze, a lot of times the production is not there. You're not producing. Yes?
You're absolutely right.
You are just complaining about too much work. I do not have time. And therefore, I believe that time is money. And we need to use time wisely. And why not? Allocate some time for me time, some time for yourself. Whenever you're able to disconnect, unplug yourself, you're able to plug yourself in back.
What about
with a more relaxed way, you're going to be more productive. Yes.
What does the 10-minute me time look like? How do you use that 10 minutes of me time wisely so that you don't overcompensate and then it becomes lazy time?
Yes. 10 minutes can sound too little and it can sound a lot. Yes. If you're at home, perhaps 10 minutes will be a little. But if you're at work, 10 minutes can be a lot. You're stealing from work, right? So what you do, you need to, again, always have that purpose in mind so that you don't lose focus. So if you're going to have, let's say you're at work, how can 10 minutes work? You can read something constructive that will make you feel more relaxed. But again, I don't like to give advices as what to do in your me time.
And I was just going to go there.
Because for me, reading is very relaxing. But for somebody
else
who doesn't like reading, that would be stressful, right?
So
you can find different ways. But what really matters here is that whatever you do, you enjoy. You got to enjoy.
So anything like meditation.
As long as you enjoy meditation, right? Anything that you enjoy. If you enjoy singing, you can sing. And it will make you relax. It will make you disconnect from what you were experiencing and be able to just forget for that 5-10 minutes time, and then you go back with a more relaxed mind. And remember, how you feel inside is how you're gonna look, right? How is it that we are able to see everyday fake smiles? Yes, do we get to see fake smiles? Especially when we walk into a resort, what happens at the front desk? We see smiles, right?
Yeah, we see smiles.
But sometimes we don't get convinced with those smiles. Yes?
Are they really happy to see you?
Exactly. Or they have to smile because it's part of their job. Yes? And that is where we want to make us stop and know that we want to feel good. Because how you feel inside is how you're going to reflect, how you look. Yes? And we women, we believe at times, we want to believe, and we know it's not so. But we think, okay, I'm going to put on my makeup, and my makeup is going to do the magic. Guess what? There is no makeup that does any magic. Yes, you can be so beautiful, looking good, nice, and still look miserable. Yes? Do we agree?
Because you are not happy with yourself internally.
Exactly.
So I've got I've got a question here, Luisa, and it's around the fact that there's some people who might not be able to understand how to take me time. So I want for us to dissect how do I how do I understand that this is my me time? So like I mentioned earlier, like, you know, some people would say time is money, time is this, time is that. Or I go about my day normally like this. I've already built up a routine. And in my routine, I think that my drive from home to work is my me time. Or my drive from work to home is my me time. Is that so? Can I say that's my me time? How do I identify my me time?
Okay. How you will identify is that you have to be clear that whatever you are doing it relaxed, you are enjoying, you are feeling a lot of pleasure doing it, and after you have done it, you finish with it, you feel renewed. That is going to be one of the questions that you can ask yourself. Do I feel renewed? Do I feel re-energized? Or am I still feeling tired, exhausted? I'll give you a quick example. I do have a lot of my clients ask me the question, Luisa, can my exercise time be considered as my me time? And the question is, how do you feel when exercising? Well, sometimes I feel frustrated because I try to go and then, okay, what is the purpose of the exercise? Is it because you want to feel be fit, healthy, or because you want to relax? Yes, because if you're doing exercise to lose some weight, to be fit, to be healthy, perhaps the purpose is not to relax. So guess what? You're going to be doing exercise, but you're not going to be relaxing. On the other hand, there can be another person who says, you know what, I'm going to do some exercise to relax. The focus is not going to be there, how perfect you're doing it. But are you relaxing? You listen to some music. You just relax with it. So me time is about relaxation, definitely. So, and that is the same reason why I do not like to advise specific things to do in me time. There is a list of things that we can do and we can choose from that list. However, we have to be very careful that when we choose right. Something that is going to definitely relax us. For sure. Make us have a good time.
So
quality time.
When it comes to, okay, because you know you meet a lot of your clients and everybody is different. Everybody is different. What are some of the things that, because you meet a lot of different people, but it might be trendy. So what are some of the things that people would say that, you know what, this is how I spend my me time? And I'm asking you this because it might reflect into somebody's mind to say, oh, now I know. So now I understand that would eventually have them appreciate more that particular thing that they do for relaxation.
There is one in particular that it makes me wonder and then analyze. And what you are mentioning, at times there are some trends, right? For moms. I hear a lot from moms that their me time is when they are taking a shower. So they ask the children, you know what, I'm taking a shower. Like, you cannot come in. You cannot come in. You have to give me my time. And I do have a lot of moms who keep on telling me that whenever they shower, it's their me time. They enjoy, they listen to the water, you know, the sound, the me time, being alone, bathing. And now it counts, you know, it's an alarm. It's alarming to know that we have so many women who have to, because of the need, take their me time being the shower time when you're bathing. Because then you don't find another time for yourself. But at the end of the day, it's working, and at least you're finding a time where you can become and be in peace with yourself. It's always so good. I always keep on inviting people to try to connect to yourself, because you never know, and you fall in love with yourself if you meet that being that you have there. A lot of us have never sat and have some quality connecting time with ourselves. And we don't know, we might get to love what we have, and you fall in love with yourself. And what happens when you are in love? What happens when you are in love?
You're good to yourself.
You're good, right? You're good. You want to do everything and anything to please that someone. And what if that someone is you? Imagine. You will get to love your me time, because your me time is going to be there to connect, and to get to know more this being that is beautiful. We do have a beautiful being inside us.
Yeah.
We just have to discover it.
Yeah.
Lucy, you make her feel cozy. Like
I know, I'm here. I listen to she. This is my me time.
So I noticed on the screen as well, we've been running some clips of massage and whatnot. Would you consider these things to be me time?
Definitely. Massages specifically will make you relax, not only your mind, your body, but it makes you connect. During a session, like let's say a 50-minute session, there's gonna be a time that you're gonna lose yourself. You're gonna lose focus, what is happening. And guess what? That is the time that you're actually able to disconnect. And you disconnect so much that at times people do fall asleep.
You fall asleep?
Yes, you fall asleep. Why? Because you're too relaxed. And you get so much comfy. And that is the reason why we have to find a space, the ambience, everything have to be in accordance to what the purpose is. Now, there are massages that are going to be painful, and again, I hear people tell you, well, but it's painful, and instead of relaxing. So you need to know. For instance, at my spa Euphoria, I do sell relaxation.
Okay.
And I keep on saying it. I do not sell facials, waxing, massages. What I sell is relaxation. Relaxation through a massage, through a facial, through waxing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the main service here is relaxation.
Yeah.
Why? Because we want to give ourselves that opportunity to be able at some point in time in our lives to be able to disconnect and start enjoying, so that we can get rid of some of the tension, stress that accumulates. Remember, at times, without even noticing, realizing, we keep on doing this in our neck, and we feel it, we feel the tension, and we are not conscious. We are not conscious that our hand is coming to our neck, or sometimes we touch our head. Imagine how much tension, how much accumulated stress you have, that unconsciously your hand will go. Or sometimes it goes to our back or whatever. Yes, that area is feeling painful. We go to sleep tired. The ideal scenario is that we get up feeling bright, a bright new day. Reality, and I will risk myself to say to most people, reality is that you get up feeling tired. And guess what? It's very sad.
But and because some folks might say, you know what, my relaxation time is actually when I go to sleep. So that's this question, Aloisa. So is it important, or in terms of my my me time, can I have multiple me times throughout the day?
Of course.
Do you recommend such thing?
I recommend it. I do have multiple me times during the day. I do have a me time every time I find it, and I make it possible. Because I make it possible. Remember that in a day full of different activities, we have to make things happen. Me time, if we don't put it as a priority, it will never be there. We'll never have time for me time. Why? Because you either are a son, so you have to attend your mom. You are a brother and sister, you have to attend to your family. You are a father, you have to take care of the children. You have your spouse. So there is no such extra time. So we have to make it a priority. So me time have to be there. Why? Because it's good. The benefits that it brings to my emotional, mental health are amazing. You get to be, and again I keep on saying it, more productive. And that is how we started this conversation here. You ask if time represents money, right? Time is
time is money.
Time is money. Well, yes, time is money. And that is the same reason we have to really use time wisely. And there is no such person that cannot find at least 10 minutes a day to dedicate
for themselves.
Yes.
But I like that you said that you take that as priority, but I feel like you are conscious that you are taking it as a priority. Most people are not. conscious that that they need that me time, right? So what advice would you give to people to stay conscious that they deserve that me time, that they need that me time? How would you tell somebody like me and John, where they sit down in front of our desk for 8 hours a day, that, hey, it's time to get up and take some time for yourself? Yeah.
My advice would be, make that choice.
That's hard.
Yes, you make that choice.
It's hard as a person.
It's a decision. Yeah. You know, I was one of those who was trying to change others. Remember that we begin at some point, somewhere, somehow we begin when we do things. And I started to encourage people. Now the question is, are you being that person?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, are you being that person? Are you doing everything that is in your power? Now, when I started, and that is why I keep on saying it, you're going to love with yourself. You're going to get to love yourself so much that you will want to have that me time. So it's just a decision. You make that decision. Guess what? Today, I'm going to challenge myself to become the change I want to see in others. I like that phrase. Why? Because we are good at preaching, right? We like to criticize. You're not doing this good. You're not doing. You should do it this way. We know how people should do things better.
Yeah.
No, do we know how to do things better for our own self?
That's the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
And perhaps at times we don't know. But guess what? We can listen to what others are telling us. If you're gonna critique me, I better listen.
Yeah.
Because that means you are seeing something in me, and I should give you thank you.
Of course.
For pointing out. Today maybe I'm not looking happy, and if you say it, that will call my attention, and it will bring me back to my conscience that I need to take care of my mental health, my emotional health, especially in times like what we are living right now.
Exactly where I wanted to go. Because while we're talking about times that we are right now, we're living in a pandemic, in pandemic times at this particular point. But also, Louisa, one of the things that we are living in is a time of technology, whereby everybody is on a device. And while they're on that device, would you say that this is actually my me time? Probably scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform they have now. And I'm saying this because that's where a lot of people find themselves at that point. So would you constitute me time to be a time on being on your social media platform and just, would you say that?
Well, the question again is going to be there. Are you enjoying? Are you feeling relaxed? But I bet social media has no balance. It has more stressful things. Most of the things that we get to see in social media is worrisome. Yes?
Yeah.
We need to know what is happening, yes. We need to know, but let us not fall into temptation and consider that as me time because we're going to be stressing ourselves.
She said to disconnect.
Yeah.
Being on social media is staying connected.
But that's the thing, because in today's day and age, Louisa, that's a very difficult. I know people who are driving and feel like, you know what, if they're not seeing what's going on here, then, you know,
that is not me time, that is
literally.
Yes, we have to learn. We have to learn to disconnect. I'll give you a tip. When I opened my spa, Spa Euphoria, one of the things that I listed was no phone. And all my clients, by now, it's been years, my clients know that if they want to make an appointment, whatever, they need to send a text message that I am going to be checking later on, because whenever I am in a session, I do not check phone. Not only, listen to me carefully, not only because I want to be ethical and professional, but because it's relaxation time and we want to disconnect. Especially we want to disconnect from the phone. It's like we are so dependent
on that.
We are so dependent on that phone. I have my phone in my hand 24 hours, I would say, because even whenever I'm sleeping, my phone is some close by. Yes. And we have to disconnect, and it feels so good to be disconnected from that machine, whatever thing, and be able to connect to humans.
I love it. I love it.
Because it feels so good.
Time is just flying by just like that. But I'd like to know a little more about Euphoria. Tell us about your business and where is it located, and of course your services.
Okay, at Spa Euphoria is located in Orange Walk. My services are fully relaxation. Relaxation through massages, relaxation through facials, relaxation through waxing, even waxing, and that is one of the services that I was very skeptical to offer it at my spa because it hurts, it's so painful.
Yeah.
However, my clients keep on telling me, you know what, Luisa, even when I come for my wax, although it's painful, but I still relax because of the ambience and everything.
But I like how you market it as relaxation.
Relaxation. I want to sell relaxation.
That's what you're doing.
Because I enjoy so much making people feel more relaxed. And every time I walk into my spa, I feel so relaxed. I do have reverse consulting.
Okay.
I am a life coach. I do online consultations, and I do welcome people to my office as well. I am a motivational speaker. I love speaking about me time and different other ways that you can relax. Definitely everything, if you notice, is around relaxation.
I'm relaxed right now.
And I am a survivor of a stroke.
Oh, wow.
6 years ago, I got a stroke. And guess what? Relaxation has been one of the biggest, better medicine healing that I have experienced.
Wow.
So I can tell, based on my own experience, that relaxation adds to a better quality of life. The purpose of what you do have to be present in everything that you do, and people are going to enjoy it. If you enjoy what you're doing. Try to find, I keep on saying this advice, especially at reverse consulting, try to find a job that matches your passion so that you enjoy what you're doing.
So that you enjoy what you do.
Yes.
Indeed.
You enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to be a slave of work.
That is a very good way to wrap up that segment. That is a wonderful way to wrap up this segment. Thank you so much.
Luisa, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with us. And with that, we're going to take our next break and be back with...
When we come back, we'll be joined by Deshane Lopez, who is a clinical psychologist. She'll be talking about building self-esteem in teen girls. So from relaxation to building self-esteem. But I'll tell you what, and following the wrap-up of all this, Luisa, check this out. We've got some fun facts as well, and you know, your phone use can tell us how old you are. So all of that and more on a fun Friday, right here with Open Your Eyes. We'll be right back.
Who offers the best mobile experience in Belize? You don't know? Well, the truth is, Digi, our national telecom, of course. Digi has the largest mobile LTE advanced network with over 96% countrywide coverage, offering the fastest mobile LTE data speeds at the most affordable rates with mobile plans that fit your lifestyle. The truth is, only Digi gives the ultimate mobile LTE experience. Visit your nearest Digi store to join the bigger, better network today. Digi, our national telecom. Visit us online at www.livedigi.com.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
Bringing people together has always been Smart's mission and passion. That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. Smart has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the Smart family, where the value for your dollar matters. Smart will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. Smart, bringing people together.
And welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our third and final segment for the morning. Now, this one is all about building self-esteem for teen girls. And we know how important that is, of course, for a developing nation like ours. Now, in to talk to us about it, Deshane Lopez. She's a clinical psychologist, counseling and psychological services. That's what she offers. Dr. Deshane, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am good.
Excellent. So you notice so cool and
Yeah.
calm that, right?
I love fun
Because
Friday, but I
strategic.
feel like it's relaxation Friday because we're moving in so well into this.
I'm telling you what, I love the sequence of relaxing, especially in today's day and age and what we're living through at this point with a pandemic. Now, let's talk about building self-esteem in teen girls. Now, it's a service that you're about to offer, or you're actually offering. Tell us, how did you come to that, and why do you feel the need for such a thing?
Okay, so we offer counseling services to teens and children. What we had seen when the pandemic started was an increase in depression with girls, low self-esteem, and so this is our third cycle of doing the girls group. We started initially over the summer, and then we got feedback from the girls in terms of what they think the next cycle should be. And for the second one, some of the girls recommended that the 6 weeks that we originally had it for was too short. By the time they were feeling really comfortable, it was coming to an end. So we extended it to 8 weeks. And so that's the main reason for this cycle where it's going to be 8 weeks. We started last week as just an introduction. But this Saturday is a holiday. And so we're pushing it back until next week where we really get the ball rolling in terms of we want to be a support system for young girls to be able to have a place. With the pandemic, social interaction has been minimal. A lot of people have been more in tune with the devices, and while that gives them some sense of connection, they still feel disconnected. And so by having small groups, it gives them the opportunity to interact while practicing social distancing and all the other measures for the pandemic. So in a safe way, they're able to discuss, learn about themselves, but also practice, you know, in terms of practicing the strategies, practicing communicating with other people, and starting to be more comfortable about talking about the things that they challenge, that they face on a regular basis, that they would all get.
Okay. What does the 8-week session look like?
So each week, for 2 weeks, we focus on one particular area. So self-esteem, we talk about mental health, we talk about so they're talk, then activities based. So it's not fully me facilitating the group, is they're also going to partake in it. And they're going to share their experiences, they're going to help lead. So we're going to be co-leaders together. The girls will lead and I will also lead. So that way it's building their courage in terms of talking and sharing, but they're also practicing the stuff and sharing with one another. So the 8 weeks is talking about different activities, doing many different things. The last one that we had done, we had done a painting. The girls we had a painter come in and teach them how to paint, and it was just very relaxing. So we want to be able to do different activities with the girls whereby they could express themselves, and they could express themselves in various ways. Verbal expression is great, but there are so many different means to be able to express themselves. So we want to throw out more ideas that they can do, not only by themselves, but with other persons.
You know, I feel primarily pride for me for the fact that you're stepping out on a limb and of course, trying to build self-esteem in teen girls, which of course we know for a fact that is a very, very important part of our population, and trying to curve them into, you know, for them to be conscious of how important it is to have a great self-esteem. Now, you did mention that this is not the first time around. This is what, your second go around, your third go around. What have you learned from your first one to now? What are some of the changes that you've seen? Are there anything new coming on board as to why these girls are actually like that? What are you seeing?
Well, what I'm seeing is initially in the first one, I had some activities based, right? And it was a lot of discussion. And so when I would encourage volunteers, they wouldn't immediately. And so when I asked for feedback in terms of what are some things that they could help me with, you know, because they are the experts. So I would ask them, what are some things that you feel that I would need to learn? And they are willing to share in terms of, these are the things that I believe will be beneficial to me. And so it's a reminder that we need to listen to what they're saying, because they could give you more insight in terms of what they're experiencing. So rather than me coming and having a full schedule of these are all the things that we're going to do, I could always switch it based on what they're saying. So I have them being of great input in terms of what it is, and that give them a sense of, oh wow, I do have some level of authority, you know, for myself. I do have a say. My voice is important, and a lot of time they don't want to talk out because, well, it might sound stupid or I'm not really sure. So listening to them and actually having them lead in terms of giving their suggestions, and then we go with that. It's also helping them to say, you know what, I could do this. I could say I want this or I don't want this, and someone will listen, right? And to show them that their voice is very important. Whatever they are talking about, even if everybody don't agree, it's still important.
Right.
And it's validating that for them. In terms of what are other lessons that have come up is, even the children that we see that are doing fairly well at school, they are still struggling, right? Oftentimes when we think about doing therapy or any intervention, is because there's red flags. We see a lot of red flags, whether we see the sadness or etc. But there are some girls that have learned how to mask it, that you wouldn't know unless you actually have a conversation with them. And then you'll hear in terms of, it don't really make sense I tell anybody because everybody just expect me to be happy, or I'm supposed to be this, right? And so because of the unsaid rules or perceived unsaid rules, they come up with their own formulation of, this is how I'm supposed to be, so I'm just going to do that. Or this is what I like, but my family now want I like these things, so I will try not to like it. But then that causes conflict within self in terms of, do I really express the things that I enjoy or just go with the flow? Right.
I want to come back to, we talked about how the pandemic has really put a damper in terms of our mental health on everybody. And you did talk about, we see that mostly in teenage girls. But I want to know the underlying inspiration behind why you came up with this particular girl talk session. What happened within the course of the pandemic that said, okay, I'm going to focus primarily on teenage girls from 14 to 17, that we're going to have this discussion, we're going to try to get through this?
So we had an increase, and there were increased inquiry of getting the services for therapy. But again, we had the increase, and we wanted to, apart from talking with some of them that were already our clients, is the social interaction and the other experiences from other teenage girls, because they would also feel, well, I'm the only one feeling this way. And so by building a sense of community with the girls that they meet, they know that they are not the only one experiencing it. 2, they could be a support system for each other. And 3, we are normalizing the conversation, right? To know that, okay, we could have a safe space where we could all talk. And I used to primarily work with teens before, so it was just easy for me to, okay, let's do this. We wanted to do girls group and boys group, but we haven't been successful in that part as yet. So we're working primarily with the girls, because that's where we see people are actually gravitating to attend.
Yeah. But you know, and one of the things that we continue to touch on here unopen your eyes. And of course, in our country, is the fact that we are actually a nation of speak when spoken to. And I feel that this is one of the biggest thing that pushes people behind themselves, and as to not want to speak out, one, two, developing a low self-esteem because we're not able to express ourselves. Are we seeing these things, and how important it is, especially to have these conversations within the household with the children?
It is so true. Whenever I do presentations and I talk to adults, I explain to them, remember growing up and they used to tell us children should be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
Psychologically, we clock that in, and that is our go-to whenever we are in situations. Should we talk or should we not talk? Right? So that becomes our framework of how we move about in this world. And so we want to try to encourage parents as well as children. Remember, it didn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for your children either. We want to break some of these generational things that we have inherited that aren't beneficial to us, that are harmful, because when we say children should be seen and not heard, then I feel like nothing why is valid. It's very important. And so we want to validate that even if we don't agree, their experience is still valid for them. We also want to be able to let them know that it's okay to have differences, that we won't think the same way all the time, and that's okay. We also want them to know that your feelings are yours. We could experience one situation and both of us will experience it different, and they're still both valid, right? And so by doing that, what we're doing is we're teaching them that it's okay, so that when they grow up to become adults, they could be in the workforce and they know how to be able to respond and engage, give their ideas, share their stuff, and actually shine. We could know that when they also become in relationships, they could voice their experience in terms of what do I need, what are my needs in the relationship.
Right.
So it goes again from work, your social environment, your family environment. It affects every different area. So if we could tap into working with the girls at an earlier age, we could at least help to give them some level of cushion that as they get older, they could say, okay, I also have this experience apart from what I have experienced before.
Also, with respect to that taboo talk, there was a slide up that says girl talk, and I feel that this is definitely something that people might not understand. Their fathers who are actually raising their girls, you know, and he might not know how to have a girl talk. He might not know how to express himself in a feminine way so his children the girls can understand how important that is. When we say girl talk, what do we mean?
So girl talk is pretty much girls having the conversation that whatever from their perspective is just their personal, like, okay, girls, we're going to talk about certain things that we know that we're experiencing at our age range. And you know, it's funny because I think had a girl call me, you know, there's the Zen girls and the millennials. And
we know that.
We are talking about that later. And she told me I was acting like, I can't remember the name for oldies. It's not how we call older people like older.
Which one? The boomers or
the
Generation X?
She said I'm acting like a boomer. But again, even though we experience certain things, I'm a female, but some of the things that they experience may be slightly different, right? And so it's allowing them to use their language, and they're inviting me into their language. And also for parents, whether you're as mothers and fathers, is the key would be being invited into their conversation. So rather than we using our language and our terminologies, we want to understand their language, their terminologies, because I am still learning their terminologies and we're not too far apart in age, but each generation will have their own terminologies that they use, and the key is you want to understand their world so that when you're able to express and talk with them, you're speaking the same language.
I noticed that you have in your in your sessions character building and activities, and it all involves around girl empowerment, women empowerment. You know, I know that in our society we have this slight problem about crabs in a bucket. We don't empower women, and women don't empower other women. So what would a character building session look like for women empowerment?
So character building is one. When we talk about crab in the bucket, for example, we come from a place where we feel that if we don't put down others, we won't feel good. And so what we want to do is we want to establish increased feelings of I am worthy and I am enough. Because those are usually the key. Feeling like you're not enough and not worthy, and feeling as if what society has to offer is limited. And we want to create a sense of abandonment. There's abundance. All of us could win, right? So by tapping into the self and understanding that, but also then sharing it now with each other, is that we all can win. It's not just one person. Yeah. We all can win, and working on strategies then based in terms of, and so that's why whenever we create the weeks when we do our planning, we have a general skeleton of what the session would be, but after the first 1 and 2 sessions, that's where we're learning about the girls. So then we tweak activities based on what their needs are. So it's not a generic, each time we roll out the program, it's going to be the exact same thing, because we want to be able to understand what their experiences are, so that the activity will be geared towards more or less what they are experiencing. And we want to be able to do self-development as well as community development. And so the circle, the girls that are part of it, become an example then of how do you respond and interact with other people, right? So they become each other role models now. So I've had this experience. Our brain now will lodge it in terms of, okay, this is another way that you could interact with people. Like, it doesn't have to be me versus you. It could be all of us.
Yeah. Wow. You know, this is actually, I have girls. So it's all about, it's all about trying to have the conversation with them and trying to empower them so they understand how important they are and bring out the best when it comes to their self-esteem. Now you're in week 1. This is session, or your third year around. Is this only happening in Belize City, and how can others be a part of it? Is it too late? The cutoff window? Talk to us about that, Dee.
It's just in Belize City for now. We still have 3 spaces available to partake in the girls group, and so we'll be meeting next week Saturday at 3 o'clock. Right? It's for an hour and a half from 3 to 4:30. So we do have space for 3 more persons to attend for this cycle.
Do you pay to be a part of this?
Yes, there is a fee. I believe it's $240. It should be $240
for the
8 weeks.
For the 8 weeks.
For the 8 weeks, yes, and we do provide snacks with it.
And these sessions are held where?
At our office at Counseling and Psychological Services Limited at 2A South Park Street in Belize City, which is right in front of Memorial Park.
Do you plan to expand outside of Belize City?
We plan, Counseling and Psychological Services do have plans to expand. We're looking at April, and we're seeing how that goes.
Okay.
With respect to these young ladies and how the pandemic have actually impacted them, what are they saying? Because, you know, at the onset of the pandemic, everybody had to be home. We didn't know how to deal with it, muster it. We didn't know what to do. And then, you know, you've got everybody in the household. This one doing one thing, that one doing one thing. We're not able to have this conversation around the round table like we used to. What are they saying there in terms of their impact from this pandemic?
In terms of their impact is, one, they're either feeling bored, there's nothing for them to do, or they feel disconnected. There's a level of disconnect where they don't feel a part of. So even the fact that, yes, they have access to the internet, they may have access to the gadgets, the people that they would typically reach out to, they're not reaching out to as much. I just don't have the energy. So they're more looking forward to the in contact with the small group, because there's that level of, you could feel the energy different from when you're on the gadgets. When you're on your gadget, it takes more from you from an energy perspective, because now you're noticing that this person could see everything. So now it's a lot more energy to be present. And that takes a lot of energy to even just think about it. So that also impacts. And then with school learning already, so now the gadget that used to be all this fun is now utilized for school work.
Education work.
Exactly. So again, the mixed emotion that comes when it comes to dealing with the gadget. So the interest in terms of meeting, that is an added plus for them, because that is also something that they miss, you know, that one-to-one or talking to people that get them. Right? And in the teenage years, our peers are the persons that we look at. So that's where parents viewpoint are not as high important on the list for a teen. It's their peers they're looking at, right? They're getting information from their peers. So the role as parents then is, it's almost like when they're between 3 and 4 years old. I like to use that example because for most parents, they remember what it was like when their child was learning to walk. And so within the adolescent age, it's also they're learning to walk in this life at a different stage.
I wasn't even thinking about that, indeed.
And
You're
so
right.
we gave them the opportunity. So we were around while they were trying to walk, or maybe they run fast and we know they had dropped, but we gave them the opportunity to experience it and learn from it. And it's the same way as teenagers. We want to give them that experience to interact and engage while we're still around, to provide information so that they get accurate information, but we're giving them the opportunity. So one, we're building, that's how we build self-confidence.
Oh my God.
By giving them the opportunity, by listening, and then by sharing. Because then what they're going to do is practice. And then they're going to go, they can go to you if they know it's a safe place.
Just like the child comes to you because you're a safe place.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you notice 3 and 4 year olds, they're looking around to see if you're
there.
It's the same concept we want to encourage for all the different stages, because we still want our parents there, yes, but from a different angle.
From a different angle.
Yes.
See, and these are the things that parents need to understand, that we are there in case the child gets hurt, but we're talking about physical pain. We're not even focusing on the mental pains that these children goes through. Now, I know time is winding down, but very interesting, because one of the things, again, that the pandemic did was actually take these children out of school. So they were slashed with respect to social skills building. How are you coping with that? You know, because school is reopening, the school is around now, but the social being and the social skills of these children, what are you seeing there?
So it's also conflicting in terms of they're excited to go to school.
But
I don't know how I'm going to interact now with my peers.
Oh my goodness.
You don't know what to say.
Some person, exactly. And then some persons who are just changing school or going from one level to the other.
Yes.
It's like, well, I don't know these people really, you know? So there's all of these emotion in terms of what do I do with it? I'm afraid, what will I say? Even though they probably knew how to make friends first, now it's like, I don't know what to say, how to make friends and all that. And so again, even with a group like this, is practicing. How would you introduce yourself? What are some of the things that you can say? And what was the experience like? So when you came to the group, so for the first session, what was that like for you? And how did you introduce? And then how did the person respond? Again, there has been a gap, right? But we want to be able to encourage them that they can do it. So yes, there was some setback, but they still have the basic skills. And if they didn't have the skills, they could fine tune it now to make it even better. If first they were a person that was afraid, now they could even practice even more, where it's a safe space. It's talking about all of these experiencing, talking about how the pandemic has impacted them, and then being each other's support system to talk it through, which is something that they may not do ordinarily in terms of just talking about it.
So
Girl Talk is particularly for teenage girls. But then do you have the other sessions for younger girls?
No, we
Not
don't
yet.
have.
At this point,
At
no.
this point,
Not
yes,
yet.
we don't have at this point.
Not yet.
I guess that is something that we need to check in terms of if that would be something that parents would consider. I guess a lot of parents were okay with their teens because they felt like they would follow the protocols a lot easier. And so it's getting a feel from what parents really need as well, because like I had said, we had tried the boys group, but we didn't get much bite from that.
Do you have an idea as to why the boys group didn't work?
Well, we are still doing investigation in terms of we have what we may think. And one of the things I've always said is we are the parents that sometimes may feel that our girls need to talk about emotions more than our boys. But because there hasn't been a lot of interest in the boys, and it's not even me that was running the boys group. We have a male therapist, Mr. Jeremy Vargas. But that is, again, so we're doing a lot of investigation in terms of what is it that the parents feel that their boys need. And then for the younger ones, because we do have a lot of young children in therapy, we just haven't had a group for them as yet.
All right. So 3 places left. So in order for folks to get those 3 places, what do they need to do? Can they call you? Can they?
Yeah, so they could call our office at 636-0823, or they can send a WhatsApp message, or they can contact us on Facebook at our Facebook page, Counseling and Psychological Services Limited.
All right, Deshane Lopez, thank you so very much. Yes. Building self-esteem for teen girls.
Yes, we need it. We need it in our society. I hope you expand outside of Belize.
Eventually. Well, so I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break. Just before we do do you leave voicemail?
If I leave voicemail?
Yeah, you left voicemail?
No, I don't.
You know, that means she don't want boomer. We've got more of that fun facts.
You could tell her that you're not a boomer.
Fun facts your phone use, actually your phone use can tell, or your phone use can tell, we can tell your age just by that. We know you're not a boomer now. How you use your phone. We've got that when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Why should you wear your mask? To protect myself. My friends. My family and others. I wear my mask because I love my grandparents. With so many reasons to wear a mask, we continue to advise persons to wear a face mask properly, covering both nose and mouth. Together, we can keep Belize COVID-19 safe.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we're moving now into our conclusion. We're actually closing off, but I'll tell you what, this is Fun Friday, and this is a fun part. Now, one of the things that we went out on a limb to do was actually, to find out how old you are. Now, we're going to do this by phone. Your phone use can tell us how old you are. Is that so? What do you think, April?
I mean, I really want the viewers to play this game with us in the comments.
You'd like that?
I would love for them to tell us in the comments, because apparently your phone exposes your age, according to an article that we had been given yesterday.
So do you want for me to tell them what the Gen Z, what millennials are, what Generation X are, what
I feel like
boomers
we kind of have an idea, but apparently this article gives you a precise date.
Indeed.
As to how old you are.
So you know what? We're going to do that afterwards. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to question you. I have to question you.
Why?
So it goes it goes like this. The first one says here, this is how we're going to know how old you are.
We're not going to give you the answer.
All right?
You just make the comment.
All right? Do you leave voicemails?
No.
You don't leave voicemail?
No.
Like, okay, we're talking here on a regular call. We don't talk about WhatsApp. We don't talk about
if I hear you have reached the voicemail, no, I just
I click off.
Yeah, I click off.
Yeah. That makes you wait. You know what I'm gonna say?
Do you leave
no, I don't leave voicemail.
Okay, I don't
leave voicemail.
So if you do leave a voicemail, apparently, according to this article, it makes you a boomer.
And who are boomers? Boomers are folks that were born between the year 1946 to 1964. You know, a boomer, you know left him.
We're going to calculate that age
left
for you.
Voicemail.
Yeah, voicemail. But John, what is the difference between a voicemail and a voice message, a voice note?
All right, cool. So, and I like that. In today's day and age, we actually have WhatsApp, and we have different platforms whereby you could actually make a call from. But at the same time, while you're able to just send a text message, you could also press a button and you're able to leave a voice note. No, this one says, do you, April, use voice notes in messages?
I find that they're necessary.
Yes or no?
Yes
or no?
Yes, I do.
So that makes you a millennial or a Gen Z.
Do you leave voice notes?
I left voice notes, yes.
Okay.
Because to me, for me, it's much more easier. Rather than be on the phone and you I could just tell you, what April must wear brown and blue to them, man.
We did not coordinate.
Wear brown and blue, yes. That's it. Now, it says if you say yes, then you're a millennial or a Gen Z. Gen Z are actually folks born 1996 to 2015.
Wow.
Millennials were born 1977, between the year 1977 and 1995. I didn't eat that crew.
I eat that crew.
I don't want to eat the two, baby. You see? And then the next one says, do you use ... at the end of your text?
The ellipses?
Yeah.
No.
You don't use that? Jamie,
like
that, FYI,
That doesn't make sense.
Why it don't make sense?
Just use a comma.
No, because
if you're going to pause, just use a comma in your paragraph if you're going to pause. The ellipsis is like a long pause. So if you're going to say FYI, ellipsis, that's like FYI.
Well, this one says if you do that, then if yes, then you're a Gen X. But for me, I do it. I do it.
John, you're not a fan of this earth.
You hear this? You hear this? Yeah, you hear this? Oh man.
So you confused your age then?
I guess so. But anyways, let's get on to this next one.
So then the next one is, do you switch between text and phone calls?
Yes.
You know, do you often switch between text and phone calls?
I would switch because then sometimes your messaging and what you're saying or my response might be too long.
Okay.
And so why I go in and I want this and that and this and that and this and that?
But then why not just leave a voice note? I don't like talking on the phone.
Then you could just pick up the phone, right, Alvin? You just pick up the phone, dial and say, April, yeah, the reason why that because so, and then never got planted. That's it. You know, rather than text one whole word planting, not one long word. So I could just call you and say, April, pigtail or stew bean,
Well, if you are switching from text to phone, then that means you are a millennial.
Well, you know what? 1977 to 1995, I'm right within that.
All
and
right.
then, do you prefer an appointment for a call?
Yes. I don't like speaking on the phone. So if you're going to call me, tell me. And schedule that. Do you?
Yes, I prefer to do that. It says, if yes, then you're between the ages 30 and 40.
I'm not 30.
You're not 30, that means, well, I want 40 soon. And so therefore, for me, I prefer, can you talk? Or am I able to give you a call probably in an hour?
Yes, I prefer that. I definitely prefer that.
Because I prefer a definitive, I don't want to call. And
we live in a very hustle and bustle and busy society.
Yeah, so there you go.
All right, and then the next one is, do you feel the need to answer your phone as soon as it rings? Do you, John? You're not having trouble for answer this question?
No. Okay. No. I mean, you got bill collectors, and so when you see it, I'm just saying. But I don't necessarily feel that way. No. I don't feel like, it depends. If I'm doing something that is very important, then, and I'm getting a call, it might not happen. I'm just saying. And the thing is, while I'm being honest, I'm sure you are as well.
Well, if you are that person that answers their phone as soon as they ring, the chances are you are a boomer.
You're not a boomer.
Yeah, so you are within that age of 1946 to 1964.
Well, I could imagine, because back in the day, you only had this one phone in the house, and you could have in the kitchen, the cook, and that phone ring, and you better run, go get that. Big sprint.
Yeah.
Peel your knee. But anyways, we move on. Do you forget about your phone entirely?
Yes.
You serious?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I am that person that will forget. I want to see your message, and I'm in my mind I answer you, and then I forget completely.
Okay, so you leave from Belmopan, you're en route to here at work, and you left your phone. Does it bother you?
Yes, but that's just because phones are for emergency.
Okay.
So I would probably remember it maybe on my way, and if I done that as it did, then it just not makes sense.
So if you're one of those who would say, yes, you could forget about your phone entirely, then that simply makes you a silent generation. Now, silent generation are folks born 1945 and before.
Well, I born 1945 and before, I look great.
And finally,
what other habits show your age for your phone? Like, what other phone habits you think show your age?
Oh my goodness. Maybe I don't know how to access all the social media stuff. I don't know what a GIF mean. I don't know what if I put the stickers and stuff like that. So I'd probably ask my daughter, my love, what does this mean? And then she would tell me, because if you have one of the faces that does this, then what that mean? Probably if you tell me what interesting joke, that's my reaction. Like, huh? know? So I guess it shows my age, but I feel that I don't maximize the use of my phone.
Yeah.
Call, message, a little bit of social media or internet just to read some news. That's it.
My phone is for my music.
That's it.
But I don't know the habits for. I don't have all social media. So I only have one social media outlet, and that's the only one I use. And that doesn't show my age, because everybody my age have all social media.
I see people using their phone to take pictures, and then the pictures slow down, and it's a slow motion thing and a whole pile of thing, and I like.
But I feel like that is more of a technological advancement.
But then the phone does that now. It is what it is. Like, for instance, this iPhone 13 como se digo.
What?
This phone, I guess you could make movie and stuff like. But I don't know. I mean, like, I don't want to come move it anyway. That's just my thought. But to each his own. There's an old saying that says, every second guy bouquet, every pataki got a cover.
Oh my gosh, I really want to know in the comments below what other phone habits you think show your age. What did we miss? Yeah. And what can we talk about next week? Because apparently we don't know our age.
I guess not. But anyways, that's a part of Fun Fridays for us. So we do hope that we could continue this for you next Friday as well. It was fun, April. It was great. And thank you so very much. Thanks to all of our guests for this morning. We had a great time. Thank you so very much for joining us. We're completely out of time.
Yes.
But for you as well, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Without you, this is not possible. You actually opened your eyes and started your morning right with us. So if you've got any questions, any concerns at all, drop us a line right here at oye@channel5belize.com.
Right, of course, you can always access our social media on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OYE Belize.
Indeed, so you could join us again on Monday when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
And as per usually, keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
All right, we'll see you soon. Enjoy your weekend. We got to understand that Sunday cold front, they come right back in.
Snooze and
unbelievable style. The Sunday cold front. All right, so make sure that we prepare for that. Do enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Go get vaccinated if you have to. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your family, Belize. We're gone.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.